to His Majesty King Charles III, and I make this solemn promise and declaration consciously, believing it to be true and knowing that it is of the same force and effect as if made under oath.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Good afternoon. I call a meeting to order. Today's meeting is being streamed live via the Township of Addington Highlands YouTube channel. To those present in the gallery today, by attending a public meeting of council, you are consenting to your image, voice, and comments being recorded. Anyone invited to speak will be recorded, and their voice, image, and comments will form part of the live stream. The chair and/or clerk have the discretion and authority at any time to direct the termination or interruption of the live streaming. Such direction will only be given in exceptional circumstances where deemed relevant. Circumstances may include instances where the content of debate is considered misleading, defamatory, or potentially inappropriate to be published. Notice is hereby provided that under the authority of the Municipal Act 2001 and in accordance with Ontario's Municipal Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act, that all information provided for or at a public meeting/consultation or other public process are considered part of the public record. Members of council, staff, delegations, and attendees should be mindful of using names of individuals or entities when discussing matters in public. Attendees are advised that they may be subject to legal action if their actions result in inappropriate and/or unacceptable behavior and/or comments. As per the Township's procedure bylaw as amended, all votes during electronic meetings will be recorded votes. All of council is present in the council chambers. And want to welcome our new council member for Ward 1, Councillor Levy. And we'll try to pronounce that right. Go ahead, Patricia.
Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. However, it's been brought to my attention that we didn't have the volume on it at the very beginning. So at the very beginning, I called Councillor Olivier to take the oath of office, and we did hear that oath of office. Part of it was heard by the public, part of it was cut off. Sorry about that.
Thank you, Patricia. We have a motion to approve the agenda of the regular meeting, which is today. Moved by Deputy Reeve Hook, seconded by Councillor Levy. Call the vote. Councillor Thompson?
Yes.
Deputy Reeve Hook?
Yes.
Councillor Levy?
Yes.
Councillor Yantch?
Yes.
And that motion's carried. Adoption of the minutes of the regular meeting, February the 3rd, 2026. Moved by Councillor Yantch, seconded by Councillor Levy. Call the vote. Councillor Thompson?
Yes.
Deputy Reeve Hook?
Yes.
Councillor Levy?
Yes.
And Councillor Yantch?
Yes.
And that motion's carried. Item 3.2, adoption of the special meeting minutes of February the 10th, 2026. Moved by Deputy Reeve Hook, seconded by Councillor Thompson. Call the vote. Councillor Thompson?
Yes.
Deputy Reeve Hook?
Yes.
Councillor Levy?
Yes.
And Councillor Yantch?
Yes.
And that motion's carried. Business arising from the minutes. Item 4.1 is the proposed high-speed rail from Toronto to Quebec, which is called the Alto project. So there's an update there from the CEO of the Trans-Canada Trail just regarding this high-speed rail project, just describing how they're working with Alto on this project. Councillor Yantch?
Sure.
Motion to receive?
Motion to receive, seconded by Councillor Levy. Are there any comments? No. Call the vote. Councillor Thompson?
Yes.
Deputy Reeve Hook?
Yes.
Councillor Levy? Councillor Yantch?
Yes.
And that motion is carried. Item 4.2 is the same project, the high-speed rail project called the Alto project. And at the last meeting, there was a resolution to put on this agenda and provide an opportunity for members of council to provide comments, and implied that we consider whether we want to organize our comments and make a submission to the project, and or it could be the Minister of Transportation if we so wished. So I'm just opening the floor to see what members of council have or comments on, or what they think we should be doing. Lord Thompson.
Yeah, so with this project, it's going to intersect our municipality, and I just don't understand how you're going to get to move from one side to the other. Say if you're a property owner, like you have a farm, for example, and you have a high-speed rail going to the middle, are you cut off from both sides? Like there's a lot that, and I just don't think we talked about this before, so I'm going to say whatever, but as far as helping a municipality, it does very little for us. I mean, if you're Toronto or Ottawa or Montreal or Quebec City, but we don't need to think that we're going to be getting on it anywhere around here, you know. So I'm not really all in on this myself personally, and I think we should address that.
Deputy Hook.
I think we've been told that we haven't done any major projects in Canada for a long, long time because of political factors or NIMBYism or whatever, but we just can't seem to get anything done. And this government is hell-bent on getting some big projects done. And whatever they choose, whether it's expanding the port in Churchill or Montreal, it's not going to help this municipality at all. But it's probably one of those projects going to be good overall for Canada. And I think that's the way I feel. If it's good for Canada as a whole, then I probably would support it. However, I'm not convinced that this Alto project is probably going to be the best return on investment. I don't think it's going to make us wealthier. It's not going to make us safer. And there's so many other things to spend the money on now that are a priority, like defense, maybe expanding our ports so that we can have more trade to make Canada wealthier. But I'm just not sure that the Alto is going to do it. So I'm kind of support it in some ways not. But we've seen NIMBYism so often, and unfortunately, that's a factor. So that's my comments.
Yes, Councillor Levy.
Well, I guess we're not alone in the thoughts of that I just heard, because I read, doing a bit of research, that there are other groups that feel very similar, and they've organized groups to discuss that other than the council themselves. So I thought, you know, but I'm just curious as to our actual responsibility here. We're not involved for funding, are we?
No, the only thing that ever may come out of the project are vibrancy grants for the communities that it passes through, and I don't have any information on that now.
Okay. Yeah, so anyways, I agree that there's not much in it for us. It sounds almost like from what I've read in the report, that it's coming one way or the other, is sort of what I'm reading between the lines. At the same time, I think we really need to look at it, because it's going to impact, as Councillor Thompson mentioned, it's going to impact a lot of our constituents. Thank you.
Yes, and thank you. Councillor Yench.
Yes, it is a very difficult project just to think about. It's so enormous, and whether they put the high-speed rail up in our vicinity up here, or whether they put it closer to Lake Ontario, which is probably where it will go in the end, I would imagine. But I can't imagine the extra, the government, the money that the government is going to have to pay these property owners for their property is going to be enormous. So I think there's lots of things to think about. Maybe the government of Canada should put their money in more just regular rail. And so more people could use the railway system than they are using it today. And if this high-speed rail does go through, which I believe it's going to go through whether we want it or not, I think that they need to, it's not going to help us. We're still going to have to drive to Toronto or Ottawa or Peterborough or someplace to get this train to go just to those places. So anyway, I think there's so much to think about here. And if people like our councillors and the regular citizens of our township, I think we need to get all that information, go to any meetings that we can go to and find out as much as we can to try to make an informed decision on it. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for your comments. I had a few comments myself. I certainly, because it's going to slice our municipality right in two, physically slice it right in two. There are lots of issues around that, and there's certainly be some property owners that are going to be not happy about that and disadvantaged by it in terms of accessing their properties or disrupting what they're doing on their property. So they may not be too keen on it. One other issue, and this is not NIMBYism, I hope it's not perceived as that, is when you run it through certainly parts of both of these routes, completely rural areas, not close to major urban centers, it pretty well eliminates the possibility of expanding the stops, adding additional stops, because they may not be anywhere close to an urban area. So that part of it, when you look at the bigger picture, there are some people arguing it should go along the 401 corridor. We all have lots of ideas as to where it should go. But anyway, the expansion may be somewhat limited, expansion of stops, because of its either route, if they pick either one of these current routes. And the other one, which some of you mentioned, is should this money be spent on it? I mean, they're projecting at least 90 billion for the project. So maybe it'll be more. Typically projects like this run way over. So I don't really, and like you folks, see much benefit or very little, if any, for our specific municipality. And we would, not in our lifetime, or probably our children or grandchildren's lifetime, will we ever be served by it. It just would never be justified to be able to get on this train in our region here. I know little about, if anything at all, about the Vibrancy Fund formula, what that is. So that's just money to, I guess, make you a little happier when about it going through your municipality. So we have some options, and Councillor Yanch was sort of implying that too. Like if you go online and look at the comments that have been provided on the map by people that own property, well, likely own property in our community, you can't really tell by when you look at the actual map. They're kind of all over the map, but there's a lot of great comments there, and maybe not as many as I would have expected to see, but I think we should make like you folks, a response back to Alto, and I think it should also go to the Federal Minister of Transportation. And it would include obviously our federal MP as well. Eventually, I'm not suggesting we do this because we got a bit of work to do, but that we do make a submission back to Alto and to those others. And that we ask staff to start preparing a staff report so that we can kind of get our self-organized here and try to factor in what the community is thinking and prepare a submission. Maybe that would be in the next month or something. I think the deadline right now is the end of March or around that date. So if we could do that by that time, there'll probably be other times after that to comment further on further stages of the project. But we have a little bit of time to get that. So I don't know, if someone, I'm not sure what the rest of the members are thinking, but if that kind of idea is where you'd like to go, then someone can make a motion.
I'm gonna say it's a start, so, you know, we might as well face it. Get her done and see what happens, because I think that I really think the constituents are really gonna have a lot to say about this from what I've read.
Okay, so you're making a motion that we ask staff to bring back a draft report for the next meeting with the intent that it will be work in progress and that we probably finalize it. The meeting after still gives us a calendar here.
Yeah, I'll make that motion.
So make sure we have time. Yeah, so we would be, yeah. We bring back the next meeting, the idea that maybe in this 2 meetings from now that we would try to finalize it. Is that the intent? Okay. Motion then to bring back a staff report next meeting. We'll work on that and with the intent to finalize it at the following meeting. Second by Councillor Thompson. Yeah, nothing else. Okay, well, call the vote. Councillor Thompson,
Yes.
Deputy Reeve Hook.
Yes.
Councillor Levy
Yes,
and Councillor Yantch.
Yes.
That motion is carried. Thank you. Patricia, you got the intent of the wording? Great, thanks. Disclosure of pecuniary interest and the general nature thereof.
I just wanted to ask a question. I'm the president of the Lions Club. I guess I just recuse myself if, like, we sometimes get funding and stuff like that. I would just recuse myself for that, or is there a process I have to follow, or?
You can,
If you're going to declare a pecuniary interest, then you would submit that in advance. And we have a form for that, so I can make sure you know how to access that.
Okay,
And if there was something at this meeting that you were going to do it, we could just record that now, but.
there's nothing at this time, but I just educating myself.
yeah, so the best idea, Mo, is that if it's up to you, it's not someone else's decision. So if you were in doubt, you're always best to err on the safe side. So if you're wondering about it, and then you should do it. Yeah. So there were none noted. So we're on to 6.1, the Quinte Conservation Authority. Lindsay Nash, speaking to this fund, which has a short form of about 8 letters, GMFGCCC. Lindsay, you're there. You can please proceed.
Hi there. Thank you. Just gonna share my screen. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So hello, my name is Lindsay Nash. I am the Outreach and Stewardship Coordinator for Quinte Conservation. I'm here today to talk to you about the Green Municipal Fund Growing Canada's Community Canopies grant, which I'm going to refer to as the GMF grant moving forward. And I'm talking to you today because I'm proposing to obtain council support to apply as a lead for this fund. So by doing this, Quinte Conservation is providing our 18 member municipalities the option to leverage funding and staff support for planting projects, either existing and proposed. So as long as trees are not already planted prior to obtaining funds, that counts. And then as lead, Quinte Conservation will focus on planting a diverse range of native tree and shrub species. So the range of eligible project types for this grant is quite a wide range, as long as the trees that are to be planted will be planted for long-term and permanent forestry intention, and that can include street tree planting, urban planting, park tree planting, riparian planting, forest restoration, and reforestation, both on public or private lands. So projects that are not eligible are projects that propose to transition ecosystems that are already healthy and functioning, such as natural wetlands and grasslands. The focus of this grant is on disturbed areas. So a maintenance plan and a survival assessment report are required following each project, which means the community tree bare root giveaway likely isn't eligible. However, I'm still working on that. So my timeline for applying for this grant is that right now in February, I'm going to all of Quinte Conservation's member municipalities looking for a letter of support to apply for this grant as lead. So Quinte Conservation can only apply for this grant with support of council because it is a Green Municipal Fund grant. And even if your municipality doesn't have any tree planting projects coming up or any programs, by having council support our application with a letter, private interest groups like the Lions Club, schools, churches, Girl Guides, Scouts, they could work with Quinte Conservation and access this funding to plant within your municipality. So following getting our letters of support, I'll have a deadline of the end of March for municipalities and private interest groups to respond with project participation and a general project outline of what they want to do. By the end of April, I'll formally apply for the fund with a professionally reviewed planting plan and an urban forestry grant coach provided by the fund. And then we have about a 6 to 8 month waiting period for to hear back if we were successful and obtain the funds, which puts us at planting in late fall 2026 or spring 2027. So we have up to 2 years to plant the trees once funding has been obtained. And then 2 years following, we will be looking at monitoring and maintaining the planted trees. So Quinte Conservation's expectations in working with municipal partners and private interest groups includes a letter of support from council, and that's what I'm looking for today to get me going. And then whatever tree planting project, either your municipality or private interest groups or landowners come to us with a proposal for, they must also have a financial contribution of 50% of the total project budget. We ask that a tree planting budget with the sources of funding be identified and an identification of existing and proposed programs or the proposed planting project. Now, it would be helpful to our application if you could identify sites where an increase in tree canopy would be beneficial, either on private or public lands, or if you have any current tree canopy studies to support or identify the need for trees. Now, I realize those last 2 points, not everybody or not all municipalities have that information, so it would be helpful and make our application stronger, but not totally necessary. And in exchange, Quinte Conservation will coordinate administrative and logistical aspects of the application. We will assist with leveraging additional funding where possible and act as a liaison between municipalities, local interest groups, and the funders. And then we will submit the final reporting. So this grant is a 50% match cost share grant with a minimum project cost of $50,000. So most of our municipalities and private groups do not have $50,000 for tree planting. So that's why partnering with Quinte Conservation and having us be the lead applicant is beneficial, because I'm pooling all of our funds together for one application. So if every municipality and a few other interest groups each pool in a few $1,000s, then we can meet that minimum project cost of $50,000. Now, when I talked to the funders, they did want me to let council know that there is a maximum of $10 million for tree planting, and that would count until 2030 or 2031. So half the budget would be covered by the GMF fund, and the other half could come from either municipal budget if there's a tree planting project led by your municipality, private interest groups, fundraising, or any other type of way to generate money. We can also stack grants and look to other grant sources to obtain more funding and the 50% match, as long as the other grants are not funded by the 2 Billion Trees program or Trees Canada, because that's where this funding is coming from, and you can't match the same thing. So what we can do is we can increase your municipal tree planting budgets, but we can't replace what you already have. So if you've budgeted for $2,000 for tree planting, we can bring it up to $4,000, but we can't bring it down to $1,000 and then match it to $2,000. We can only increase it. And then it also cannot be part of any legal tree planting requirements. So if you have a bylaw that if you cut down a tree, you have to plant a tree, that probably won't work either. So there's lots of good reasons for planting trees. Implementing a watershed-wide tree planting initiative through different levels of partnership creates capacity for the community to work together while supporting climate resilience close to home. Quinte Conservation really focuses on tree planting because it creates climate resiliency through flood retention, but it also reduces carbon dioxide from the air and produces oxygen, which is good for health. Trees reduce heat island effects in urban areas. They cool buildings in the summer with shade and provide a windbreak in the winter. Mental health is improved through connection with nature, and diverse native tree species promote healthy soils and habitat for a wide range of insects, birds, and mammals that are specific to our area. This aligns closely with Quinte Conservation's vision to advance watershed knowledge and collective actions to strengthen our natural ecosystems. So please let me know if you have any questions, and my contact information is on the last slide here.
Thank you, Lindsay, for the presentation. And we'll ask members of council, do you have any comments? Deputy Reeve Hook?
This sounds like a good program. However, it looks like our minimum cost would be $25,000. That's assuming we didn't get any other funders. That's a lot of money for a small municipality that's not too far off a 1% tax increase. So seeing that we participated in the tree seedling program for 2 years, first year was a big success. Second year, we had a few left over, I understand. And I know that we're going to have many budget requirements this year, including one, maybe two bridges, and an increased demand on our fire budget for reserves. So I'm thinking this project might be better suited for the county forest if if they're doing any reforestation. But I don't think we can afford it, even though it's a good program, but maybe in
Sorry.
areas that don't have so many trees as we do.
Yeah, it's
Mm.
$25,000 collectively through all of our municipalities and private interest groups.
Oh, so is that the total minimum for you to apply for the grant?
Yeah, so we have 18 member municipalities and probably double that with private interest groups such as field naturalist groups, Rotary Loves Trees, lake associations, schools, churches. So I'm pretty confident that we would be able to meet that threshold, no problem. And then even if you don't have any funds allocated for tree planting, a letter of support still unlocks those grants for private landowners who would like to do planting in your municipality also.
Oh, Councillor Thompson?
Yes, well, we'll definitely offer a letter of support. Well, that would be my opinion. I make that motion that we give a letter of support, for sure.
It's moved by Councillor Thompson to provide a letter of support. Seconded by Deputy Hook. So do we have any other comments or questions on that? Lindsay, I have a couple questions. So obviously there'd be no issue from council to provide a letter of support. Regarding promoting your program, because there may be organizations in our community or other people that are interested in this. So I guess you would expect that with the municipalities and we would offer with promotion of it, dissemination, or you have a way you're going to be doing that on your own?
My thoughts are we're going to come up with a communication plan and then work with the municipalities.
Okay, thank you. So a follow-up question to that, Lindsay, would be if there's a community organization or a private individual who decides they want to participate in this program, then does the township have any involvement in that, or do they just deal directly with Quinte Conservation?
They would deal directly with Quinte Conservation.
Okay, so we have membership in Quinte Conservation, so we could be, I guess, kept up to date at the end of the closing date of this as to whether there were any applications from our municipality. Okay.
Yes.
Deputy Reeve Hook.
Just a question for Lindsay. Have you contacted the county of Lennox and Eddington because of the county forest? I know they do reforestation. I don't know if they have a plan for this year or next year, what the plan is. No idea.
I haven't contacted the county. I've just been in touch with our member municipalities, but if you think that would be a good connection to make, I'm definitely all ears to connect with them.
I
I'm
think it
happy
would
to.
it'd be worth a phone call anyways, for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah, and you may have other counties that have the same issue. I don't know which counties have their own forests, but others may. So, are there any other questions, comments? We have a mover and a seconder and a motion. Okay, we'll call the vote. Councillor Thompson,
Yes.
Deputy Vogt,
Yes.
Councillor LeBay,
Yes.
and Councillor Yanch.
Yes.
That motion's carried. Thank you very much for the presentation, Lindsay. Sounds like a great program. So, and we'll provide you with support.
Thank you. Much appreciated.
Great. Take care. Okay, we'll move on to matters for consideration. Item 7.1, Renfrew County Veterinarian Services Committee. There's just attached to meeting minutes, a report, and our 2026 annual fee, which is extremely small. And there is a recommendation here that we received the report and that the annual fee for 2026 of $280 be approved. Moved by Councillor Riench, seconded by Councillor Levy. Call the, go ahead, Deputy Revoke.
Just a comment. I mean, I support this. I know it's very necessary, but it seems like the way that they charge municipality is skewed because there's two townships there that have 56% or 56% of the livestock, and they're paying less than double the fee. So it seems to be a really good deal for them, but I think maybe they could, or if council would support that they re-examine their way that they appoint the fee to each township, because I think it's two townships that really should carry more load than that. They're not paying their fair share, in my opinion.
At the last meeting of this Vet Services Committee, because I sit on it, they had a debate about the fee. I don't think it's in the minutes, but it was a discussion they had whether they wanted to go down the path of trying to revisit the fee, because for most municipalities, it's a very small amount of money. And yes, it was based on livestock head counts is what it was, but those counts they vary, and they chose not to, how can I put it this way, create a formula that ended up with some municipalities paying $20 in an annual fee. So they kind of just took the bigger municipalities, gave them a higher percentage of it, and just split most of the rest at the same fee. And it's remained relatively unchanged. So it was not a high degree of science to that. But that's how it was. They came about with it. Yes,
If I
Councillor
can
Riench.
just ask a question. What is the purpose of this committee?
Okay, so the Veterinarian Services Committee, there is money provided through a provincial fund to ensure that northern communities have access to large animal veterinarian services. And the travel for the vets is subsidized. We are the north, there is an irregular cutoff line, but Addington Highlands, we're part of the Renfrew County one. It kind of dips down and catches us, but it's generally Northern Ontario. That's the purpose of it. It's not a lot of funding, but the issue is, and I'll be straight up with it, the concern was if it's too expensive to have a vet come, or you can never get one to come, or you have to pay all of their travel, you may just leave your animal in distress. And that was sort of the foundation for it, that they want to ensure that someone who had an animal on their farm, which does include a horse if it's a hobby farm or something like that, it's just to ensure that they actually take advantage of this veterinarian service and don't ignore it because of cost. You still pay a fee for the vet, but not the travel. Hope that answers the question. Yeah. We had a mover and a seconder, didn't we? Yes. Any other questions?
I was just
That's
going to
what- yeah.
comment, I guess these vets, they work in, like, there's going to be a bunch of them and they sort of alternate. And it's a 6-week stint or something. Is from what I read somewhere that,
So the vets that are in the program, there are only a few in Renfrew County, and they are full-time vets.
they're full-time.
Yes, yeah, that's their job. And I'm not sure exactly where you read, but it may have to do with the fact that there's been lobbying going on for a lot of years to encourage more people to take the large animal veterinary vet program because everyone takes the small animals because simply there's a lot more money in it. There's no other, so there's a drastic shortage of large animal vets with many of them on the verge of retirement. So,
Okay, thank you.
yeah. Any other questions? Call the vote. Councillor Thompson,
Yes.
Deputy Reeve Hook.
Yes.
Councillor Levy,
Yes.
Councillor Yantch.
Yes.
And that motion's carried. So resolution 7-2 from the city of Peterborough. Looking for the province of Ontario to, I guess, relook at how they divvy up the money for policing in specific communities. There's no other way to say that because they imply that they would like that distribution adjusted a little bit. Any questions? Councillor Thompson?
I'll make a motion to receive and support.
Mover to receive and support. Seconded by Deputy Reeve Hook. Any comments? We'll call the vote. Deputy Reeve Hook, Councillor Thompson,
Yes.
Deputy Reeve Hook,
Yes.
Councillor Levy,
Yes.
and Councillor Yantch. That motion's carried. Item 373 is a resolution from the Township of Asiganak, which supporting their resolution to support all efforts to retain Life Lab locations in Northern Ontario. For anyone who doesn't know where that municipality is, it sits on Manitoulin Island. And there is I think there's a facility, I think in Sudbury, they're planning to close. And all those samples would be sent to the GTA for analysis. There is another major lab like which does the analysis on the samples in Thunder Bay. They're not touching that one, but it's the one in Sudbury. So that's what they're lobbying for, is that that stays there. Deputy Reeve Hook?
I think this is the shortest resolution we've ever received.
It is very short.
I would make a motion to receive and support. Nobody likes to have Life Labs or Dynacare yanked out of their community, so I would
Yeah.
support that.
It's seconded by Councillor Yantch. Any other comments? No. Call the vote. Councillor Thompson,
Yes.
Deputy Reeve Hook.
Yes.
Councillor Levy
Yes.
and Councillor Yantch.
Yes.
And that motion's carried. Item 7-4, County of Prince Edward is seeking support of their resolution supporting Bill 21 to protect our Food Act. We'll go into that one further. Councillor Yantch,
Motion to receive and support.
moved by Councillor Yantch, seconded by Councillor Levy. And any other comments? Councillor Thompson,
Yes.
Deputy Reeve Hook,
Yes.
Councillor Levy,
Yes.
Councillor Yantch.
Yes.
And the motion's carried. Matters for information. Do you have a motion to receive all matters for information? Moved by Councillor Thompson, second by Councillor Yantch. Does anyone want to speak to either one of those? No. We'll call the vote. Councillor Thompson,
Yes.
Deputy Reeve Hook,
Yes.
Councillor Levy,
Yes.
and Councillor Yantch.
Yes.
And that motion's carried. Reports of committees and boards. We'll keep moving down to, there are no reports until we get to 9.6. 9.6.1 is, they're both related to East Lennox and Annington OPP Detachment Board. And 9.6.1 is their meeting minutes. So there's motion to receive. Moved by Councillor Thompson, seconded by Councillor Levy. Any comments? Call the vote. Councillor Thompson,
Yes.
Deputy Reeve Hook,
Yes.
Councillor Levy,
Yes.
and Councillor Yantch.
Yes.
And that motion's carried. 962 is the Detachment Board newsletter, January 2026. There's a recommendation there, motion to receive it. Moved by Deputy Reeve Hook, seconded by Councillor Leveille. The comments, we'll call the vote. Councillor Thompson,
Yes.
Deputy Reeve Hook,
Yes.
Councillor Leveille,
Yes.
and Councillor Rianch. That motion's carried. Just have a comment because we talked about it at a previous meeting for the CanSafe program and the OPP auxiliary program. This doesn't need to be in the motion, that we were going to post those two like on our website and social media because we were going to help them advertise. For the CanSafe, you can probably just cut and paste it out of that newsletter on those two. Library Board, I think Joint Fire Committee. Reports of, oh, yes, sorry. Go ahead.
May I make a comment on the Joint Fire Committee? Our new chairman is Councillor Thompson. He got offered to do it or railroaded, one or the other.
Congratulations.
This is the time of year on the Joint Fire Board that we talk about the budget. And I wanted to bring this up at member statement, but since we're talking about the Joint Fire Board, of course, North Frontenac has already done their budget and they have allocated considerably more money than normal towards reserves. And it puts our township in a little difficult position of supporting the amount that they want to do without having even examined our budget yet. And we talked about this over a year ago. I can remember when Christine was at a meeting that we said it's just difficult to okay a budget because we okay the budget at Joint Fire Board, and that's the budget that we bring to our township for budget. But we don't know where we're going to be. So I just hope that we can take a look at that again and try and have our budget in more earlier, like at the end of the year, so that we're not in this difficult position on the Joint Fire Board. So I wonder if we could maybe bring that back to council, another meeting, and see where we stand with it, what the process is, what difficulties and so forth, because it makes it difficult for us.
I'll just speak to the budget timelines because it's defined in our rules of procedure, and that the updating of it has been started. It's well underway. Took a little bit of a slowed down when Reeve Hogg passed away, but it's that's work in progress. Anyway, have been looking at advancing it. I don't remember how much, to what degree, but that is part of that review, and hopefully that will be completed. It'd be nice if that's completed before the end of this term of council, and I'm pretty sure our CEO wants that completed before the end of this term. Yeah. Thank you for that comment. Yeah. We need to motion to receive that. Probably should. We should have a motion to receive Deputy Hook's comments. Moved by Councillor Rianch, second by Councillor Leveille. Call the vote. Councillor Thompson.
Yes.
Deputy Reeve Hook.
Yes.
Councillor Leveille.
Yes.
And Councillor Rianch.
Yes.
Motion's carried. On to section 10, reports of officers, manager of roads and waste. Item 10.11, your update. We'll turn that over to Brett.
Yeah, afternoon, everyone. Not too much to update other than the sun shining, so that's kind of new. And it's great to see it out there doing some melting. Winter operations are continuing as required. Banks are being pushed back at intersections and some snow removal is occurring. We have started to cut some bank tops and we will be doing more just for storage and visibility. If you don't cut the banks back, then you just got no room for the snow and it ends up creeping in more and more on your roads. So it's a safety concern. So We did have a TAC meeting and a GIS meeting on February 10th and 11th. Once we get those reports, I will include them as a agenda as part of my roads and waste update. We had an initial meeting with our engineer about Bridge Street. We're waiting for their revised proposal to present that to council. So it was a good talk. Christine and I had a little talk with them, and they understand where we're coming from. So we'll see what they come back with. So as far as the waste sites, the new Mterra bins are in place at all waste sites. There's a few little hiccups. The lids they're quite large, and they're hard to handle if somebody's trying to flip them over to open them up completely or flip them back. They are large. It was discussed at our waste management, waste diversion committee meeting, and we're trying to come up with some options to make it a little easier for the people in the waste sites. Some other issues with labeling that could be things could be identified a little better on the bins so that people know exactly what stuff goes in what bin. So there's still a little bit of confusion that way. So we're working on those things, and we'll just have to play her out and see what else comes up to make things work. So we did have a waste management and waste diversion committee meeting on February 11th just to talk generally about operations. And there will be a report coming to council on that. So I guess that's it, unless anybody has any questions about my report.
Are there any questions for Brett? Deputy Hook?
I go to the Cloyne Waste site, and I didn't have the sheet with me, but I had it at home, and I was very careful to sort it properly. And then when I got to the Cloyne Waste site, I was told I sorted it incorrectly. Things like the coffee bags, snack wrappers, bubble wrap, chip bags, plastic gift bags, and cereal bag liners, I put in with the paper stream. They were told that she has to go in the plastic stream, and it had to be bagged separately. So I said, you guys are on the website, so I resorted everything, but I said, this will be going out in the mail to our Addington Highlands residents, and it's different than what they're doing. So I just thought you should be aware that there's going to be a lot of residents that are going to have to resort their stuff unless we get some kind of this sorted out.
Yeah, I'll reach out to Darwin and see what they're doing. It should be the same.
It should
I
be.
guess it's supposed to be the same. And honestly, I go to Tweed to the waste site, and they have different ways of sorting as well.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether different people are getting different rules to abide by. I don't know why they would. It's supposed to all be the same, but we'll try and straighten things out. But as far as the rest of the waste sites, they should be using that
Right. But
definition.
this,
So
we didn't make this up, right?
no, we did not make it up, and actually it was approved by
Right.
CMO on how they wanted it done. So
The other thing was paper coffee cups. They want those dealt separately too. And I think I had it. There's somewhere on here, paper coffee cups go in the containers, I think.
yeah.
Right. They wanted them in the paper. But there's a couple things that are just totally different, but the plastics are the main thing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we don't want people to have to resort stuff at the waste site.
No, and that's not the intention at all. Yeah, I think I did my due diligence as far as I was concerned with having them approve what we were sending out.
Right.
So I guess we'll do some investigation and see.
I was talking,
So
Gary was there, Gary
Mhm.
Thompson, so.
yeah, so
Anyway, it's just probably interpretation of,
yeah,
I guess, so.
yeah, and I don't know why it would be any different for North Frontenac than it is for us, but
Right.
we'll see.
Okay.
So
Thanks.
okay.
Councillor Thompson?
Yeah, so some people have talked to some people and they were under the impression that each one of these had to be separated, which is it's just the stream, like to understand it's just a stream. It's not, this is separate and that's separate and that's separate. You know what I mean? It just a misunderstanding, I guess you'd say.
Yeah, and if anybody has any questions too, they can always go read on the website for CMO, and it'll pull up all of our recycling guidelines for it's fairly simple. And actually, I think our website is now updated or was supposed to be updated to have the new guidelines on it. And it's just a push button and it'll take you right to CMO's website. You can look at stream 1 or stream 2. And it'll show you what stuff needs to go where. So
Thank you. And as expected, there'll be some teething problems as we work through this. I just had a comment, Brett, on the Bridge Street culvert, of course, that Hydro One has been in there and relocated the hydro pole completely. That was located very dead much in the center of that culvert that was there. So, any other questions for Brett? So we have a motion to receive Brett's report. Moved by Councillor Yantch, seconded by Councillor Levy. Call the vote. Councillor Thompson,
Yes.
Deputy Hook.
Yes.
Councillor Levy
Yes.
and Councillor Yantch.
Yes.
And the motion's carried. And now we move on to item 10.12, Rural Ontario Development Funding. Brett, I'll turn that over to you.
Yeah, so we talked at the last council meeting there about applying for the Rural Ontario Development Funding. We were thinking of applying for large project funding to replace Simon's Bridge and fix up the seasonally maintained portion of O'Donnell Road. We also discussed reaching out to some community partners to see if they had any interest in participating in this. I reached out to both Eastern Ontario Trails Alliance and Snowmobile Club to see if they had interest in working together for this application. I also reached out to our engineer, Jewel Engineering, to see if they would help us with some of the costing and the application itself. After that, Jewel had a meeting with the provincial staffer from the Ministry of Rural Affairs regarding the funding. They confirmed that major projects, including road and trail bridge replacement, are not eligible. They said that the bridge design could be eligible, though, and under the stream for, I think it's design and strategy or strategy. There's a stream for that, and could get up to 50% or $100,000 max. She also said it would be key to get the Snowmobile Club and or the Trails Alliance to support this as well. As an alternative to the bridge design and not as part of the same application, we could also, or the Trails Alliance or the Snowmobile Clubs could apply to rehabilitate the trail under the Community Infrastructure Enhancement Stream, which they would get 35% funding and maximum of $250,000 for large projects. I discussed this with Christine, our CAO, these couple of options. We thought it would be best to apply for the bridge design. I let Jewel know, and they they worked on some costs and the application a little bit. I haven't received the application as of yet, but I did provide council today with some information on costing. It's a lot of money to get a bridge design done, and it's not cheap. That's for sure. I did reach out to the Trails Alliance and the Snowmobile Club as well to tell them about our options and ask for their support and if they had any funds available for the bridge design. I also suggested that the township may be willing to send a letter of support should they wish to move ahead on their own application to do work on the Trails Alliance. I didn't want to speak for council, but I just said that we may be interested in helping to do that. So So at the time of publication, we didn't have the application, and I still do not have the application. And I have not heard anything back from the Eastern Trails Alliance or the Snowmobile Club, other than when we were proposing to do work on the trail and the bridge, they were interested. So I don't know about the bridge design portion, whether they're interested in helping with funding on that, as an individual, but, hopefully we hear back, shortly. So, I have a recommendation there, but it would be, I realize council hasn't had a lot of time to look and see what the costs related to the bridge design would be. So I guess open it up to questions now if anybody has any, and we can move on from there. So,
I just make so I understand it. So this total design cost, that's the 72,564.
yeah,
Okay, so we don't know if anyone else is going to participate in it.
no,
And this grant would be 50%,
yes,
and we have to have it in by,
the end of February.
which is prior to another meeting, right?
Yes.
Yep. Okay, I just wanted that clarification. So, turn it over to council for comments, questions. Deputy Falk?
Brett, what condition is that bridge in now? Is it the deck boards are shot? Is the infrastructure, like all the main part okay, or?
I would say the deck boards are getting shot. So we've done some temporary fixes on them, but they're not going to last. The railing system needs to be redone somehow. The foundation is holding now. I don't know how long it will hold, and it's not made for, I guess, for larger traffic. Like I don't know whether I'd want to drive my I wouldn't drive my half ton over at this point. Maybe if we fixed up the deck and all that stuff, I would be fine with it at that point. But
But we can't let this bridge just kind of fall into state of disrepair, otherwise we'd have to close the road, right?
well, I think it has been closed previously, I think, and they had the Trails Alliance, and I don't know whether the Snowmobile Club was involved at that time when they did the lumber and the new deck on it. I'm not sure at that point what happened there. Helen might have a better idea on that. So
I don't recall closing this road. This road is not closed. It's called the O'Donnell Road from one end to the other. And where people keep calling it a trail is not correct. It should be called a road. And honestly, this could be our lifeline road, and it needs to be repaired. And I've been saying this for 15, 20 years. And we're just sort of always just sitting here. We don't want to spend the money on the bridge. And the bridge is the holdup. The bridge needs to be able to carry passenger vehicles. A few years ago, we had an emergency where people, traffic had to be rerouted down the O'Donnell Road, including big trucks and everything else, because 41 was closed. And so they had to get them out to number 7. And I'm telling you, that road wasn't suitable then, and it's less than suitable now. And I think people need to realize that this is should be part of our emergency strategy to get that road in repair. And particularly the bridge. I think once we get the bridge fixed or whatever we're going to do so it can carry passenger vehicles, then the rest of the road will come. But I wouldn't take my half ton, I wouldn't take anything in the road, except for maybe the first 2 or 3 kilometers on each end. Anyway, that's just the story. The road has not been closed, and I think snowmobilers and Other people may wish that's the way it was, but it's not. It's still our road and we need to maintain it.
Any other comments? Deputy Fook?
It's classed as a non-maintained road, is it not?
Yeah.
Right, so right now
No,
it's
no,
not-
it's classed as a seasonally maintained.
Seasonally maintained, okay.
Yeah.
If Jewel is going to do the application, is there a fee just to do the application, or are they eating that in the hopes that they'll get the contract?
No, there is a fee associated with that, and
Is
it's, it was $2,000, sorry.
$2,000 to do
Yeah.
that, okay.
Approximately, so, yeah.
Okay, so if we supported this, we would then need to budget, and it was successful, we would need to budget include $36,000 approximately.
Around that, yeah.
36,
Yeah.
38,000. Okay. So I don't have personally a lot of comments on it. In the bigger scheme of things, and as I think Councillor Yanch pointed out, in that road, it's kind of pointless doing a lot of work in the road if you really can't safely get through it. I mean, I know what the road looks like, I know what the bridge looks like. So road is relatively narrow in spots, and the bridge is, yeah, it's, I wouldn't say dicey. It's had work done on it, but it's really meant for light loading right now. So,
Correct.
yeah. And it's old. I don't know how old.
Yeah.
100 years, maybe. Who knows?
Yeah, probably the foundations, probably that old, but I'm not sure about I'm sure that the deck was redone by the Snowmobile Club or the EOTA. I'm not sure who all it was, but I'm sure that was done at one time when they had to replace it, so.
Councillor Yanch.
Just one other comment too. There's most of that road that goes from 41 over to County Road 29. Most of the property in that road along the road is private property. And I know those property owners, I've certainly heard comments from them and questions why the township isn't looking after the road so they can get to their places safely other than by four-wheeler or snowmobile. So anyway, that's just another comment.
Okay, Councillor Thompson.
We don't need to debate this anymore. I mean, this end up being a budget thing or something maybe later on, but I mean, you're gonna be looking at probably $4 million to do this job. By the time you're done the bridge, you're gonna have to do the road. So, you know, I'm just throwing that out there.
Yeah.
It was $1 million was it $1 million for Vanacker Road? Am I watching?
I can't remember. I would be lying if I told you.
Okay. Well, it doesn't,
And
I'm just, it's
yeah.
just, we're not doing that, but it's just a point that
yeah.
if you want to spend $1.2 million on a bridge on
Mhm.
this road, then you're gonna have to fix the road.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can't have a trail with a big new bridge, you know, without
Yeah.
having a decent road, so.
Yeah, and I don't know what the cost of the bridge would be, whether it would even be a bridge. There's other options out there as well. Similar to up at in Denbigh on Bridge Street, there's culvert options that could be possibility depending on the flow rates and that. Realizing that it's a Scudamata River, I think that it's crossing there. So there's might be a little more flow there. But yeah, I wouldn't want to commit to say it's going to be $4 million
Well, it's
to
gonna
do
be
the
a lot.
road, or there's going to be some money, and it depends on what
yeah.
kind of state of repair that we would want to bring it up to as well,
Yeah,
right? So,
I'm not debating
yeah.
whether we're gonna do it or not. I'm
Yep.
just stating that it's gonna
Yep.
be a significant cost.
Deputy Hook.
Well, I would support making the bridge safe. But I don't think that necessarily you would have to make the road a lot better all at once. I mean, that's a lot of money to fork in. That road is primarily used by four-wheelers and they tear the hell out of that road. So, you know, I don't think the ratepayers would really support spending that kind of money, raising our taxes for the benefit of four-wheelers. They're going to rip the hell out of that road. I'm very familiar with that road, and I bike down that road and it's, in the spring, it's a muck hole, but the guys love it if you're on a four-wheeler. So I think we have to make the bridge safe, but I don't think the two are necessarily one and the same. We can still have it as a seasonally maintained road for a while.
Yeah, I think that would be the first step, I would think, would be to do the bridge as Helen has stated. And whether it's a bridge or what kind of structure is put in there would be something that the engineer might be able to give us some more information on when we do the design. Obviously we'd have some input on it as well. And then you could, like you say, we could do pieces of the road as we go. Should that be what council decides? There's different options that could be done there. So.
Okay, any other comments from? So we have a recommendation from staff, and you can be up to whoever makes the motion to decide on what's in there. Yes, do you want to add anything, Brett?
Yeah, I think my recommendation might have changed since this was done last week type of thing. Maybe I think Patricia, we had discussed maybe given the CAO and your the Reeve authority to sign off on the funding application, basically, should that choose to be what council decides, so that we could get it in before the end of February. And that would be the change in my recommendation. And then we can go from there. So.
Okay, so yes, Deputy Hook.
I'd make that motion that Brett suggested.
Okay, so that'll include that we receive the report and the documentation, also that we approve the submission of an application for the funding, and that however we word that, we either delegate authority or we approve the CAO and the Reeve to sign that application. Okay, seconded by Councillor Yench. The council will call the vote. Councillor Thompson?
No.
Deputy Hook?
Yes.
Councillor Leville?
Yes.
And Councillor Yench?
Yes.
And that motion is carried. Thank you, Brett. Any other questions for Brett or anything else you want to bring up, Brett? No? Great. Thank you. Move on to 11 reports of a. We don't have any other. Do you have anything, Patricia, in any of these? No. Okay. The fire chief's not here. Reports 11 is item 11, reports of appointees. Nothing to report. Any resolutions? No resolutions. Item 13 is approval of the accounts as of February 15th, 2026. Motion to approve.
I'll approve that.
Councillor Thompson, second by Councillor Yench. Any questions? Yes.
Just for my own, this is just the day-to-day activities. Is that correct? Like the expenditures?
Yes, these are the expenditures essentially since the last meeting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
So-
opposite.
yeah. So, and they're paid out, and you'll see it in different categories. They're paid out by different means. In some cases, electronic funds transfer. Other cases, it's checks, that type of thing. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we'll call the vote. Councillor Thompson,
Yes.
Deputy Hook,
Yes.
Councillor Leville,
Yes.
and Councillor Yench.
Yes.
And that motion's carried. Any member statements? None. New business? No new business. Bylaw 16-1, bylaw 1014/2026 to close and stop up lands and sell a designated land, and then it goes on to describe it. Three
We got
readings.
3 readings.
Councillor Thompson, 3 readings, and Deputy Hook seconded. Call the vote. Councillor Thompson,
Yes.
Deputy Hook.
Yes.
Councillor Leville,
Yes.
and Councillor Yance.
Yes.
And that motion is carried. No closed meeting today. Item confirming bylaw, 3 readings. Councillor Yance, Councillor Thompson, all vote Councillor Thompson,
Yes.
Deputy Reeve Hook,
Yes.
Councillor Leville,
Yes.
and Councillor Yance. Motion's carried. Motion to adjourn. Councillor Thompson, Councillor Yance, Councillor Thompson,
Yes.
Deputy Reeve Hook,
Yes.
Councillor Leville,
Yes.
and Councillor Yance.
Yes.
And that motion's carried. And the meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone, and had a great afternoon.